is Chandra Leah, and it's day 7 of Vlogmas, and I'm super excited. And I'm also kind of sad because that means we only have 5 days left of content. But do not worry, because the vlogs, the videos are still going to come after this. You know, it's just the series is ending, so it's kind of sad. It's a bittersweet moment. Yeah. Anyway, for today's episode, we're going to be talking about journalism. And the reason why I wanted to make this video about journalism is because I feel that the black and brown communities don't really understand what journalism is, and just we don't pursue it a lot because it's not really, well, I'm gonna speak from my own experience, it's not really a kind of choice, and it's not really brought up a lot in terms of, like, you know, jobs and just creative outlets and just avenues that you could take. So I wanted to create this video because I want to see more black and brown journalists. There's been times when I have, you know, went to class and I've been the only black student, or I've been the only black student at a newspaper. I've only been, you know, you get tired of being the only black person in the setting. So I felt like this video is important to me, and it's important also to you all as well, because I could motivate somebody to say, like, hey, maybe you should try it. Like, maybe you could do this. Maybe you could, you know, get into the field. So first I want to talk about what is journalism, or maybe, journalism, or maybe I should start with how did I get into it and all of that. So I guess you know what, let's start with, we're going to start with me. So yes, I call myself a professional journalist because I work in a professional journalist setting. I don't really want to get into much about where I work. If you know where I work, like I always say, if you know where I work, then you know where I work. But I got into journalism in high school. So I kind of went to a high school that was kind of a performing arts school a little bit, and also about STEM. So they had kind of every little avenue of, like, you know, art classes. They had newspaper classes. And, you know, your typical, kind of like high school a little bit. So I joined newspaper when I was in 10th grade, and there I think I fell in love with it. But I was always a writer. I was one of those girls that used to be on Wattpad. I used to be on Miss Literary, and I really liked writing. Like, English was always like one of my favorite classes. So when I got to high school, I was like, I definitely have to take a newspaper class. And I originally wanted to take it my freshman year of high school. And I'm getting emotional because, y'all, I honestly, it's like I'm so dramatic, but it's just crazy when you look back. Like, once you realize, like, when you started and where you at now, it's always just crazy. So my freshman year of high school is when I wanted to take it, but I was kind of nervous, so I didn't know if I should take it then. But came 10th grade is when I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get in newspaper. And I had a blast. Like, that probably was my favorite class. We created like a little newspaper for the school. I got to interview people, and it was just a fun experience. And I was just like, yeah, like, I want to be like in this. I want to do this more. So for my high school career, I mainly did like newspaper. You know, I wrote for, it was like in the city. I'm from Detroit, so in the city they had a program from high school students to create to submit articles to a larger newspaper with Crane Detroit that, you know, will publish all the articles from different high schools, and they had something called the Detroit Dialogue. So by my senior year, I was publishing articles in there, and then it came around, like, I had to decide, like, where was I going to school, you know, like, what colleges was I looking at. And it was just like, am I gonna be a journalist? Am I gonna go into something more practical? Am I gonna go into something, you know, something else that someone else wants me to be in? And it just came down to, I think I need to pick something that's true to me, and something that is, it fits me. Like, that's one thing I always say about, like, journalism. It fits me. Like, it's me. Like, it's crazy. And I am so glad, like, looking back, I am so glad that I chose to go into journalism. I am so glad that I chose my college that had a J school. So J school stands for Journalism School. And as y'all know, I went to Michigan State. If y'all need proof that I went to Michigan State, baby, you see it, okay? So yes.
What?
I went to J school there and I majored in journalism. And then I said, am I going to go print or am I going to go broadcast? So in high school, my background was all print. I really didn't do a lot of video work. But then I was like, you know what? I want to learn the concept of video, because I feel like I've always been a little YouTuber. I've tried YouTube. I had the blogs, but I never stayed like consistent with it because I was nervous. You know, being a YouTuber in high school is hard. You're your classmates, you got everybody talking about you and everybody like laughing at you. So I kind of shied away from it. But now, baby, I'm gonna do what I want to do, you know. But when I got to college, I was like, do I want to do print? I want to do a broadcast. And I was like, you know what? Let's do both, literally. I said, we're going to do both because I wanted to be proficient in each skill set. I wanted to know how to make videos. I wanted to know how to write. I also wanted to know how to, you know, take pictures. I wanted to be able to do everything so that I could be a full journalist. And that was a lot. So a lot of my writing classes, you know, I was writing articles, and then I worked for the school newspaper there, and I got kind of annoyed with writing, so I switched to video. And that was like why I was so happy that I decided to, you know, have my minor and my concentration, because I was able to do everything that I wanted to do all in one. Or I could just flip-flop. You know, I could go for writing for a little bit. I could go do my videos for a little bit. Then I could come back and switch. And that's, let me tell you, if you're a journalism major, know how to do video, know how to take pictures, know how to do audio, know how to write. If you know how to do all those things, you're golden. And let me tell you why also you're golden. Because as you can see now, I'm content creating. I know how to edit my videos myself. I know how to take my own pictures. I know how to write my own articles, my own captions. I don't have to outsource. I can do it all myself. And that also is because I have taken classes and I have ventured into, like, you know, the journalism world. So once I was in college, it did come down to like my senior year. It was like, okay, Chandra, you have this minor in broadcast, you have this concentration in writing reporting. What are you going to do? Are you going to go work at a print news station, or are you going to go work for Channel 2? And it became where I was scared. I was confused. I didn't know really what I wanted to do, and I was kind of annoyed because I thought at first it was the bombest idea ever, but then it just came down to, yeah, what are you gonna do? So what I ended up doing when I graduated from college, I applied everywhere because I have both skills. I know how to do a video. I know how to do, you know, a story. I can flex, and now I know how. Now I also know how to write to a video, and all of that. So I thought, you know, the jobs had a win-win with me. You know, I could do it all. I was a bag of chips. And because you also think about this, a lot of colleagues that you work with in journalism, they're not doing both. Some are literally just writers. Some are literally just broadcast people. And it is hard. I'm not trying to shame them, because there's nothing wrong with having one niche. I mean, it makes it easier. But I wanted to be proficient, and I can't lie. I feel like as just black people, we have to be proficient. I feel like we have to kind of do a little bit more sometimes to make ourselves stand out. And that was my goal. Like, it wasn't even about just standing out. It was more so just about having a skill set so that I could show somebody else and teach someone else. Because before I went to MSU that summer, I had an apprenticeship at a newspaper in my city, and we had like joined with a lot of the high school kids and stuff. Because I actually got the apprenticeship because I was a part of, you know, the little newspaper that was coming out with all the other high schools. So since they had like my clips from that, it was like, okay, you know, she's pretty good. Let's see what she can do. And I literally, that was the worst apprenticeship I had ever had. It was so bad because I didn't know anything, and I thought I did. Like, I thought the little newspaper had helped us, but here we are with these, like, you know, students obviously from like the suburbs who had full-on studios. They had literal classes with not professors, but like, you know, journalism teachers, like teachers who were actually like journalism majors in college and could, you know, help them. They just had a little bit more. And it was very intimidating. It was so intimidating for me because I thought I was good, but I wasn't. Literally. So I had made it my duty. I said, when I go to MSU, I'm going to make sure that I develop every skill set that I didn't have at the apprenticeship, so I could go back to that newspaper and just kill it. And it makes me emotional because I am at that newspaper now, and I have written over like 100 articles. I'm doing TikToks with them, and it's just crazy how life can turn around. And I hate this is turning emotional and motivational, but it's just showing you that when you have a goal, or once you just see how something is just not working out for you, or you hate how something turned out, don't never feel like you can't go and turn that back around. Okay? Just never count yourself out. Like I'm telling you, that summer I said, when I go to MSU, I'm going to be the best journalist I can be. I'm going to work for their newspaper. I'm going to make a space for me and make myself known. And I did that. Okay, baby? Google me. But anyway, just after that experience too, I told myself, I said, if I ever get a chance to come back to the city, to my own city, to go back to my high school, I would want to be able to provide tips and show people what journalism really is, because it's a great field. The skills that I learned in journalism can help you along like anything. I mean, it's not going to turn you into a doctor. It's not going to turn you into an engineer, but it helps with everything, because now I also have a little bit of social media knowledge. I can help my cousins on their Instagrams. I feel like if I stayed stagnant a little bit more with the social media, I could become a social media manager. It opens up so many avenues, because journalism, it's like one word, but there's so many umbrellas that like just fall under it. So I guess you say that is journalism, but journalism to me, it's storytelling, you know, and not all of it, because you know you got the breaking news and stuff like that, but it's a way of storytelling, you know. I feel like journalists are very important people, and I hate a lot of times when I hear the word, oh, the media, because when people normally say the media or somebody's pushing an agenda, baby, you talking about the blog on social media. Because let's be for real, y'all not reading local news, y'all not watching local news stations, so you can't say the media because you just get your news from like Twitter. I just don't like that term. That's my little sidebar about that. But journalism is really, it's kind of like, it's everything around us, you know? Everything is kind of like journalistic a little bit. It's writing, it's reading. It's like, it's so much. And I just love it. So I am a breaking news reporter. So I cover a lot of things like, now my brain going break because I cover so much. But sometimes, you know, I might be out at events. I might go to a visual. I might cover like a new brand is coming out. I might do a couple features. It's a very, very broad topic, but at the end of the day, I will say that I feel that my beat of journalism is features. That's really what I like in journalism, because I love talking to like people who have something going on, and just people in general who have a story to tell. And journalism has just really made me, I think it made me a little bit more appreciative of just like the world around us. And it made me very comfortable too with just talking to people, because before journalism I was very shy. You like, if somebody said hey to me, I probably would be like I'm still a little shy, but journalism really cracked that open, because baby, I'm on deadline. Yeah, so once you get on deadline, it becomes like, okay, you know what, you know what, yeah, we're gonna have to let that shy anxiety go to the side, because you need to go talk to these people, you need to get this interview, and you have a deadline for 3 o'clock, or you have a deadline for 5 o'clock. And man, I cannot believe I do all of that, because let me tell you, back in the day, deadlines used to scare the crap out of me. I could never make them, but I'm better now, okay? I think I probably can write a story about a good 20-30 now. And it's just crazy. Like, sometimes I'm even like on the scene, like writing the story, because I probably won't have enough time to literally like go home and write it. I have to literally write it on my phone, pull out my laptop. It's a really chaotic scene, but it's fun. It's exciting. It's never you never experience the same day ever. Every day is different. Every day is a new story. Every day is new people that you're talking to. It can't get better than that, because in those same experiences, I learned so much. I've talked to so many business owners who probably, I could call them up right now and say, hey, I want to start a business. Give me 10 tips. I've talked to movie directors. Hey, I want to write a script. You want to help me out? The connections that you build in journalism are just it's crazy. Even your coworkers, because they have resources. And it's a world of its own, but it's the whole world. It's like it connects everybody. It's news, you know? And I hate how people like talk about it so much and always just say the media, but it's just much more than that. It's and the amount of work that we do and how we really like, I mean, I'm not gonna speak for everybody, but the work that I do and how much time and effort I put in it, because it's still my name on it at the end of the day, it's endless. I don't have to put no fake agenda on. Nobody's trying to spread fake news. Like, and that's the thing. People don't understand that. They think that, oh, you guys are trying to spread an agenda. Do you really think, okay, a local newspaper is trying to spread an agenda? Baby, we are on deadline. We don't have time to really think about some agenda. And don't get me wrong, I do think that different reporting, it matters in certain communities and how, I mean, you know, all of that jazz. Like, I do think that different reporters might have different agendas, but my agenda as a reporter is to make sure that the person that I'm reporting on is presented in their best self, and I'm doing that efficiently. I'm making sure that their names are spelled. I'm making sure their quotes don't sound crazy. I'm making sure that I ask them questions that really, it pulls at them emotions. It pulls at the reader's emotions. It just matters. It makes somebody want to read this. And it just shows that person in the spotlight in a good light. You know, because I said this to myself too. I said I would never be a journalist who was gossipy or trying to be messy. That's not it, you know. And that's entertainment a little bit. It can get, they call that sometimes gutter news, because a lot of times entertainment news can, like, you know, it can just get a little messy. And it's nothing wrong with being an entertainment reporter, but I definitely think that it comes a bridge between, okay, are you an entertainment reporter or are you just a messy reporter? Like, I would never ask a question that's uncomfortable. I would never ask a question that's gonna like hit, you know, because I'm not into clicks. Like I said, I'm into making sure that the person that I'm interviewing is spotlight the best way that they can. And sometimes that's hard, because once you get like higher and higher into this like journalism world, girl, they don't care about that. Okay? Remember that. But I'm trying to find my notebook. Okay, here go my notebook. I wanted to stay on track. Okay, so I don't know what I just spilled, but I kind of already told you guys how I got into journalism, because journalism is also one of those fields too where a lot of the jobs require a degree. So I think my advice with that would be is probably go to a journalism school. I know some top ones are MSU, but a lot of English majors too, we're not going to talk about those, are also journalists. So maybe you could be one too like that. That was kind of shade. If you get the whole like English major journalism J school thing, you would get that joke. But why is it important for more people to get into journalism? Well, I definitely feel like in today's climate, it's probably important because a lot of people spread a lot of lies about journalism. But more looking at for black people, because representation matters. Imagine turning on your TV and you don't see nobody that looks like you. That's not good. Let me tell you why that's not good. That's not good because, one, it's nobody, like don't get me wrong, you may find those people inspirational, but it gets complicated. It gets complicated because these people are in your community. They're reporting on things in your community, but they don't look like you. And it's hard to find a connection like that. You know, I feel like when I go to certain like, you know, events and stuff and they see me, I'm brown, I look like them, I tell them I'm from the city, the conversation hit different. It just hit a little different, it do. And people are more comfortable sometimes to talk to me because, okay, you know what, she one of us. And I hate to say it's like that, but it is like that. And two, you have to remember, these people are reporting on your community. They're not going to tell it like how you want to tell it. And that's why I kind of said that, yeah, you know, journalism is not that big in Detroit, but I want to be a voice for my people. Like, I want to report on my community. Yeah. It is probably more money out in New York. I could go to New York and be a reporter. I really could do that. You know, I feel like I have the clip in enough. You know, I feel like I have enough like experience now that I probably could go to like New York or somewhere where journalism is big, and I probably would do really well. But I looked at you know, reporters at newspapers around my city. I looked at, you know, who was on TV and everything. And I said, you know what? Half of these people ain't from Detroit. And I'm not saying you need to be from, like, the city that you're reporting on. But I'm like, these people ain't from Detroit. They don't see Detroit like how I see it. You know? I know certain things that they may not know. And I think that matters. Like, I feel like a lot of times, you know, they try to push us to say, oh, you need to go somewhere else to start your career. No. Sometimes start your career in your hometown. Get to know those people. Because I have found out just so much stuff about the city since I've been working there. You know, you find out so much stuff. And you be like, wow. I feel like I get to see another level of the city. You know? I get to see what businesses are coming up. Who's over those businesses. What they look like. You know? It gets me indoors where I can come back and say, hey, girl, guess what I just found out? Guess who on that building down the street? You know? I can tell my friends, my family that. And they get to tell people. So I definitely feel like we just need more journalists that look like me, bro. Make a portfolio, you know? So when it's time for you to apply to those colleges, you have something to show them. Show them your YouTube videos. Show how creative that you can get with them. Show your articles that you wrote on your blog, you know? Create content so that they can see, like, okay, you know what? She is a storyteller, you know? Because that's really all it is. It's how well can you tell this story? How well can you get the audience to actually click on this story and say, oh, this is good? And then have emotions. Let me tell you, your story ain't hit if ain't nobody email you and say something about it, okay? Or if the comments ain't crazy. All right? So, it really just all takes, it's really all about, like, what you want to do. It's so many things with journalism. You could be a fashion journalism. You could do, oh my gosh, I cannot talk. You could be a fashion journalist. You could do sports journalist. You could be a beauty journalist. You could be it's so many different types of niches that you could do that's journalism, and you can write about it. You could talk about, you could talk to people who have the same interests as you. And then now look, you're a journalist. It's not that simple. But you get what I'm saying though. Like, I like fashion journalism, you know? I like that. I like listening to the reports of the of the runway shows and all of that. I love that. And one advice that somebody had told me, well, they told the whole class, but I'm going to say me though, because I took it to head, okay? But there was a woman, this was my freshman year of college, and I was sitting in my first journalism class of college, Journal 108. If you're watching this and you know about Journal 108 at MSU, say, hey, what was our professor name? I ain't gonna name drop him. Was it Steve? May not. But anyway, so a woman had, like, you know, she had just appeared in our class just from, like, motivational talk. You know how it is. And you know what she told us? She said that with journalism, you know, you can go into any beat or niche that you want. It could be fashion journalist, it could be sports, blah, blah, blah. But she said, you all should take classes in that, you know, niche. You know, obviously, well, MSU had sewing classes and stuff for, like, you know, the design major. And I thought about that. I was like, she's so right. We should be taking classes in fashion journalism. We should take a cooking class so we can learn more about what we're reporting on. Because that, too, sometimes I feel like we report on a lot of stuff, but we don't really understand sometimes what we're reporting on. So that's why I got into fashion. I don't know if you guys follow me on Instagram, but if you notice, I'm dressing up. I'm wearing fashion. I try to teach myself about fashion so that if I'm reporting on it, I know what I'm talking about. So I guess I said all that to say is that if you want to be a journalist, if you want to be a writer, take classes in what you want to write in so that when it's time, like, yeah, you can research all you want. But if you don't really know what it is, if you can't visualize it, because I'm a visual learner. I need to see it. I probably need to try it out myself. If you just can't do all of that, take that class. You know, take that class and figure it all out. Because the one thing you don't want to be is the person that don't know what they're talking about. Because a lot of times, sometimes when I be reading, even myself, sometimes I don't know what the heck I'm talking about in a press release. I'll be looking at this press release like, what is this? And then I had to go literally do my research, like, okay. And that be me. I'm such I call myself one of the turtle writers, because if I don't understand it, if I read the press release once and I don't know what it's talking about, baby, I'm gonna have to read that bad boy probably like 5 more times, and then I'm gonna have to go research. But that's what you should be doing anyway. You probably should actually call them too. I do call though. I do call sometimes. I'd be like, okay, explain this to me on the phone real quick. You have to do that, and I feel like that also makes a good journalist. But I don't want to keep this video too long. I hope that I kind of explained a little bit about what a journalist is, how to get into journalism, and what I do in journalism. And I hope that if this video reaches you, it inspires you, it gives you something. Like, I hope you took something away from this video, because baby, I was but yeah, I like it. And it's not even just about the perks of it. It's really just about really being a voice for the unheard, you know. I know that's a stereotypical way to look at it, but you really, you know, you have to be careful, I think, in journalism too, because you really influence so many people, you know. So many people read our articles and get information from us, you know. Sometimes we're the first people watch in the morning or see in the morning. So you just have to be so careful. You have to be just so careful about what you say and what you do in journalism. Because, man, and it is a crazy world right now. But I feel like by heart, I will always be a journalist. I will. Like, without journalism, I don't know what I would have did. But I just love it. I love the flexibility it gives me. I love how it has, like, it just has helped me. And it has taught me so much. Like, I don't know. It's just crazy. And I think it was just the perfect field for me. And I hate how, you know, people say, oh, journalism is dying. It's not dying, baby. It's just changing. The Shade Room was just your news source, and I don't know why. I ain't gonna hold y'all up. I am not a fan of the social media blogs. When I say the social media blogs, I'm talking about the Instagram blogs more so. Like the Shade Room and Baller Alert. Them are not your news sources, baby. Get off them and go read your local newspaper. Please do. Your local newspaper employees need you to read their newspaper. Like, and that's what I think I want to lead the video off. You cannot say that media is dying when your local source of news is the Shade Room. Or you cannot say the media is the problem if that's the only type of news source. And baby, please read your headlines. I hope, you know, we're going to leave that off that. I don't want to go too much. I don't want to start talking about people. But I hope you guys, like I said, enjoyed this video. Like I said, I'm getting bittersweet because slowly but surely, we're just done with Vlogmas. But I hope you did enjoy this video. And make sure you stay tuned for day 8. And also, go check out my blog. She's on day 7 as well. And, you know, go, if you into fashion too, I'm still looking for content creator friends as well on the internet who we all can, like, you know, share our tips and, you know, check out like our posts and stuff, and, you know, build like a little bit of community. So if you are interested in, like, you know, content creation as well, influencer journey, girlies, let's connect. Everything will be in the description box. Bye.